Okay, we have a 1967 Coronet. This is a 440 Magnum. I think 68, 69, 70 is like when they really, these are still cool body styles and stuff. RT, they're still using RT batch today. Again, you can see this is a 440. It says it up there too, because of the pad. This pad right here, going to that. So it's a high performance. You can tell from the factory because the exhaust manifolds are up like that. Like the standard 440 is 350 horses. I think there's a slight difference in the cam and the exhaust system. It goes to 375 horse, but there's a little more horsepower than actually they're saying. These 440 Magnums, I think they put out 410 horse. And but the 440 was even just using the standard power plant in the Chryslers that this year. And when you put it in something like this, it's a little lighter, Coronet RT, Dodge Coronet RT. It was even a screamer. It really, I think it put out 410 horse in reality versus the 375 was rated at. So when they talk about 350 horse from the standard 440 to 375 for the Magnum, it was actually a much bigger jump. And they would do this for insurance purposes. Here's your distributors in the front on this. I think it was 33 degrees on the dwell. I think 6 degrees before top dead center. On the timing. And they also had, you see the intake manifold here? That's like, this is one thing I liked also about the Chryslers. They didn't have as much problem with, I guess you call it, what do you call that, vapor lock, because there was a tray underneath. This intake was separate from the block. It wasn't, in other words, it was bolted to the heads, but where the tray is from the block, there was an actual tray there with an insulation between that. In other words, they had a metal tray, then the intake manifold was bolted to that, and there was some insulation between there, so it kept the fuel cooler between the block and the intake manifold. Also on his carburetors, they had, I don't know if he's got an electric choke, but they had like a vacuum with that worked. It was like a coil choke. And also had a little vacuum thing that pulled the choke open, the air mounts as the engine started. Besides the heat, in other words, it pulled the choke open just a little bit with a little vacuum rod. I remember adjusting all that stuff on these things way back when. You had all that stuff tuned exactly right. These things would start up. These things would start up. Yeah, I told you, How you doing, these things would start up right away in the wintertime. There's a little minor adjustments on them. All right, let's get the interior of it. I just talked to him a little bit about the baking soda and carbon C60. Bust my chops about talking in the camera. You got your your tachometer on the dash. It's a nice place for it. Nice sweet interior, bucket seats and stuff. Center console reminds me of my '69 Roadrunner a little bit. You notice a little more details in things back then. RT on the side, black with the tool red pinstripes. You look at the back of this thing, sweet, huh? That's a really sweet design, way ahead of its time. I mean, this was like a quantum leap in styling. This from what was just around a few years earlier than this. So it's amazing what they were producing back then without CAD/CAM computers and just using drafting boards and clay mock-up models and not having robots to make these things, like computerized robots in a factory to make these things. And digital laser measuring equipment and stuff to make sure things are lined up. Everything was pretty much done by hand with machines, but regular hands-on measuring equipment too, even when you're building these things. So to tool up for something totally different like this every year without computers, it tells you something. I don't know. The money people are idiots, man. They're screwing up the whole world, man. I'll tell you that. The guys on the top, they're screwing up everything. But even in the '60s, things were being made faster, cheaper, more for production, more with money than in the '50s, and even more so for '50s from the '40s. But today it's progressed to something ridiculous. It's really beyond what it should be. We're not getting the right product for our money. Bunch of garbage.